Yo, JD here, and as you can see, we are back with some league racing action. This time for round 2 of the GASR series. You can see these are the current standings after round 1 at Silverstone, where we came home in P2 behind Carl_24, and we are heading into Zandvoort, which is one of my favourite tracks to drive in the game. Qualifying pace was a bit of a struggle last year, but coming into this race, I just felt very, very confident. And Carl, the championship leader, is actually taking a little bit of a leave of absence at the moment, so he won't be here for about the next 2 to 3 races. And I think because of that, in my mind, I know I need to maximize these rounds as much as possible. I will be missing probably 1 to 2 races myself throughout the season, so I knew I've got to take this advantage as much as possible. And we'll be discussing quite a few things within this video, and if you've seen the stream already, there is quite a bit to talk about. But managing to get through to Q3 relatively comfortably, and my PB was an 8.3. I actually did that about 5 times in the practice, so I was very confident that we could get the pole, and I really wanted to kind of make a statement win after Silverstone, where I felt like I did the wrong strategy or just pitted at the wrong time.
But I'm on a lap anyway.
And I was pretty gutted about that, so I really wanted to come back with a very, very strong performance here. And this is my first lap in the Q3. This is on the used tyre, so an 8.8. Pretty happy with that. And you can see this is my second lap. And the goal was to save 1 set of fresh softs for the race, because the strategy medium to soft is definitely the better strategy. But on my second lap here,
fuck off,
running out wide, and I don't think I did that once in practice. So I think I was just tensing up.
In real life it works, but
letting the pressure get to me a little bit. Or not really so much the pressure, but just I was so eager to do so well here. And you're about to see on this outlap. So this guy, LH44 Clint, has just finished a lap. So he's actually just set a lap time, and he lets me go. So I thought, okay, that's fine. And everything in this race, I said it in the stream, and you'll hear me say it in the stream, I think I could have avoided a lot of things here, and this is one of them. So it's really important to get your tyres up to temperature. You really want them to be in the high 70s, if not the low 80s, to start the lap. You see the right-hand side particularly takes a lot of time to say, but Clint was following me right behind me. You're about to hear some moments of frustration here.
You really just got to sit in the slipstream.
And yeah, if you sit in the slipstream, you actually gain quite a bit. So we're playing this bit of cat and mouse game here. And all this is doing is really wrecking my tyres. So the right-hand side of the tyres, you can see they're under 70 degrees. You need that to be in the high degrees, because otherwise the first sector is going to be very poor. And yeah, looking back at this, it was very frustrating, because in F1 esports it's actually banned. You're not allowed to do this because you gain a lot of time in the slipstream, because I really wanted to get the pole position. So in hindsight, looking back at this now, I should have just got on with it. And yeah, even if he used my slipstream, you know, he would have benefited, but I think I could have still set a fast lap him anyway. And you can see the delta is against a used tyre lap, so I should be going so much faster. But because these tyres are so cold in the first sector, we've actually lost time. So I think I do a 24.2. I was always doing a 0.0 or even a 23.9 in the practice. You can see that's a 0.2, so that's a really bad first sector. And that is all down to the tyres. You saw when I was doing my second lap, I was about almost a 10th up at this stage. And you know, you should be aiming to always go faster in the last lap. So the sector 2 and 3 was good. The tyres are heat up at this point. But yeah, that was kind of my own fault, really. We just got involved in something we shouldn't have got involved with. And now, for me personally, it's not a rule in this league, but you'll see he dips into the pits. So I don't think he had any intention of completing a lap. So I don't know if he was trying to just distract me or something. I have no idea. But you see, he's got to pull off in the pits here because he didn't have fuel really to do another. We didn't really have the tyres. Otherwise, he would have been doing 3 laps on those tyres.
My tyres are so fucking cold.
And
we need to ban this slipstreaming thing. In esports, you're not allowed to do it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe that's something a league can consider in the future. But again, we do an 8.6. That is quite a bit solid. Like, I was always doing a 0.4 in the practice, the absolute minimum. So I was really disappointed that. But honestly, looking back now, when things have calmed down, I think I should have just really got on with it. So we're starting on the mediums here, and mediums, I actually won this race last season, and mediums to soft is definitely the faster strategy. So I was really surprised a lot of people ahead of me weren't on running mediums, because I think I'm the only guy in this top 7, top 8 who is on the medium tyre, and I have a set fresher soft. So this is really good, but there's a bit of this up here. The pole sister has a big collision. I think he gets wing damage. We lose 1 position. So just making sure we don't get any damage, otherwise the race is over. So lost 1 position, not the end of the world. As long as we can stay with the soft runners, which we should be able to do, the goal is to pit at the end of lap 21, 22, and then go on softs to the end. And then softs are just so much faster. So as long as you can stay in this train, no, that is it. You pretty much the race is in your hands. So restarting the race here in P8, and right now everything is absolutely still to play for. I was very frustrated with qualifying, but you know, everything is still to play for. We're still in a really good position. I think I qualified P8 last season and still went on to win the race. And right here now, the only medium runner ahead of me, I believe, is Schumacher. Everyone else is on softs. So this is actually benefiting us really well. And yeah, we're just going to try and attack Schumacher here because I felt I had a good pace. And again, I think you'll see the overall result of this race, but I think I was just so eager to do well. I ended up making some poor decisions, not with the strategy, but I just think some of my driving and stuff as well. So with the qualifying, you'll see a couple of things in this race as well. And yeah, it really came back to bite me. So we get past my teammate who lets me go there. So very thankful for him. And right here now, I was feeling very good. And you can see Schumacher's made a bit of a mistake here. So we're going to try and capitalise on that. I don't think he's really going to fight me too hard because really we need to work together to be as close to the lead as possible. And now we're up into P6. So this is pretty good. And this stage of the race, I was very sure I didn't get damaged because, a bit of a spoiler alert, we somehow get damaged in this first stint. And I'll be showing you a couple of instances where I feel, well, one of these must have caused the damage unless it's a glitch or something. But I always set my wing repair to yes, just in case there is damage. Just to let you know, it will not change your wing unless you do have some degree of damage. So I know some people after the race are telling me, oh, it's because you set your repair wing to yes. No, if you don't have any damage and you set it to yes, it will not change your wing. It's only if you have damage. So that's why I always do it. Just in case I did get a little bit of damage under a safety car or something like that, and then I forget to change the wing, because a little bit of wing damage actually has a big effect. But you can see the safety car came out here, so everyone's going to pile into the pits. And again, I know some people were telling me in the chat after this, why didn't you go on the hards? Yeah, that was an option to go on the hards, but the hards are just so slow, and they will be very slow at the end of the race. So you can see some people have gone on medium. So Ickel's gone on the medium. There's a couple of others have gone on mediums as well. Some people on the hards. I know it sounds crazy, but the strategy that I was planning to do here, I believe still would have been the faster strategy. So my goal here was to still go to about lap 22 and then put on some fresh softs. And yeah, you effectively got to make up a pit stop, but you're going to be going about 2 seconds a lap faster than the rest of the field. The pit stop is about 16 to 18 seconds, and you know they're going to be sometimes about almost 3 seconds a lap slower by the race. So they've got to do quite a few laps on this. Even though the hards can do it, they are just going to be a little bit worn at the end, and they're just a very slow tie compared to the medium and soft. So I was very confident with this strategy. So right now we are still in a really good position, but this is one of the moments coming up where I think we could have received a bit of damage. So Ickel has pitted for a medium on that lap 8 safety car, so he's on fresh mediums compared to us. And right here now, I really should have just backed out of this. I don't know why I decided to keep it in, but you'll see this little bits of contact here. I'm getting frustrated at the moment, but I spoke to Ickel after the race, and honestly, that was just me being stupid. I should have just let him go. He's on the fresh mediums. But that little bit of contact there, damages are reduced. I wouldn't have expected that to give me damage. It's actually normally quite hard to get damage. Normally the MFD pops up. Your engineer tells you if you get a little bit of damage as well. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this was the point that got damaged, because you can see I'm actually struggling to stay quite close to Schumacher. my pace was really, really good in practice, and this felt definitely a lot more understeer than normal. So I don't know if that was the reason or anything at all. See, we're coming under pressure from the Ferrari behind, who again, everyone behind me has pitted, and this is another one of those moments where I lose the car, we make a little bit of contact, and a little bit of contact there. But again, for me, playing on reduced damage, I wouldn't have expected that to have damage either. So I was very confident while I was driving that we did have damage at this stage. So when I was going to go into the pit, so we're coming towards the end of lap 22 now, I was still very, very confident for this race. And if you look at Schumacher, who's going to be doing the same strategy as me, he actually picks it up later, you'll see where he finishes at the end of the race, just to confirm how good the strategy is. And I believe he didn't even have fresh softs. So I have fresh softs here. So I was feeling very optimistic. And you can see we set the repair wing damage to yes. Again, if you don't have damage, it won't change your wing. So I was very sure I didn't have damage. But as we go into the pits, Polder's belief, you will see it's a 7.4 second pit stop. So we're having to wait an extra 5 seconds.
My wing is damaged.
And you're about to hear some words from me now.
Okay, let's go now. Come on. Perfect
this
job on
race
the
is
turn
not
in there,
going.
mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. Up to speed now. Let's get some
I've
heat
had
into
damage
those
this whole
tyres.
time.
And yeah, I just really couldn't believe it. And unless there's a safety car, that is pretty much destroyed my race. And you can see how far the field is, but we are a further 5 seconds behind than what we should have been. And yeah, can't describe that, because you'll see Schumacher's going to come out the pits now, and we should have undercutted him. So we should actually be further up than him, and he's going to be 5 seconds ahead of us. So yeah, that is a real nail in the coffin. And yeah, at this point, I just really was kind of lost for words and just beyond frustrated. You can see we're probably going to set the fastest lap of the race here now, catching up to the guys up ahead. But if me and myself and Schumacher could have worked together, again, you'll see where he finished and how close he was at the end of the race. No, I was feeling really good. But as we come through this corner, you will see we missed the apex a little bit here. Puts me on the curb at the outside. And yeah.
I'm done.
Virtual safety car. Virtual safety car. Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta.
No, I'm done.
And yeah, not much happened after this. We were just coming around last place, pitted a couple more times, and you'll hear some more things as we cross the line here. And I'll just have a bit of discussion after the race as well on some of my thoughts. But yeah, a race to forget, that is for sure.
Yeah, that's the worst league race I think I've ever done. And I think, to be honest, a lot of that is just my fault. Schumacher came P3. He was 2 seconds behind, man. We still had it. We still had the race. That's unbelievable.
And yeah, like you hear me say there, Schumacher, you can see, look how close he came to winning that race. And I don't think he even had fresh softs. So we had the fresh softs. We had wing damage apparently for that first stint as well. If we didn't have that wing damage and we had the fresh softs, I still think we could have actually come back and won the race. If I actually drove well, I think the race win was actually still on the cards. But this race here, I know people commenting on the chat, and I just want to say myself, I know some people saying you're complaining and getting frustrated and stuff. For me, that's something how I've always been. I've always wore my heart, my sleeve, my emotions, and I don't really apologise for it. I don't think that's going to change. And to be honest, I think if you put a mic and webcam on anyone and you're recording it for like 2 hours within sports or whatever, F1 drivers, football, whatever, you're probably going to hear a lot of frustration. So for me, I think that's very natural. I know some people can deal with it better than what I do, but that's something that I've always done throughout my racing career. And I think people need to realise in the moment, in the hot seat, it's a lot easier said than done. But yeah, looking back, reflecting at that race, I just think there was just a lot of unforced errors that I did, starting off at the qualifying, then should have backed out on those couple of occasions in the race as well. One of those incidents definitely caused me the damage, and I think if I could have just been a little bit more cool, calm and collected, had someone engineer me, or if I was engineering someone else, I would have just told them, look, you have the pace, still able to win this race. You can see it was Schumacher. I really do believe that we could have still won that race, but we ended up scoring no points. And I just think, again, because of last week at Silverstone, knowing that Carl wasn't racing, I felt like I just put a lot of pressure on myself, a lot of expectation on myself, and that's why sometimes when I actually practice too much for a race and too much expectation, it actually sometimes actually goes the opposite way. So I would recommend to you to not over practice, do good quality practice, but not too much where you don't have too much expectation, and really just try and be cool, calm and collected in the race, because that was one of those races where I certainly wasn't, and I can't keep doing races like that, that's for sure. But as always, please let me know your thoughts. I always look at people's feedback, definitely the constructive feedback. And yeah, we're at Kota this weekend, which is going to be a very difficult track for me. It's a track that I'm not a fan of, but we will keep doing our best. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for people who actually stuck around in that stream to the end and supported to the end. It really does mean a lot to me. And thank you for a lot of support, and also, yeah, again, just a general feedback. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that regardless. And I will catch you very, very soon. Peace.